So we are here right now. Uh, let's see how many viewers are there right now. Only, only I'm one doing right now, but no worries. In the future, someone will might see, someone will take view advantage of it, or probably we're just gonna see it, right? So let me check whether my voice is audible or not, as a just a live stream formality. Okay, it's working well. So today's topic is all about what's next, right? Uh, before, after really making the wireframe, I'm really just kind of stuck in between about what to do next and how to really proceed on. There are really many things to discuss about what should we do and what shouldn't we. So I really just wanted to really go in a brief about in just half an hour, like what is my next strategy and what are the things that I'm currently like learning right now. So in this video, we are really going to discuss about the brief introduction regarding like how can we just frame our backend architecture, about how can we design the React, how can we really use the AWS or the cloud platform, how can we really implement the other services uh, authentication, SMS verification, OTP, email, sending emails, and all that kind of thing. Uh, so as in the previous like couple of weeks ago, I really posted a video about how I really learned the web development. So I'm currently right now just in a stage where I can understand literally perfectly everything, but it's kind of a challenging or really unknown territory even for me right now to really just go on and try to figure out what's happening. And I'm even really trying to contact some other developers out there on LinkedIn, and they have really suggested me a couple of things to really learn as thing because the the challenge is right now developing the system. What I really want is uh, kind of really fairly challenging enough, and it's really and there are a bunch of other system out there. So in I have to really decide out there that whether I really want to design a monolithic architecture or a microservices. Plus, on the top of it, like I have to go over it and really learn the other AWS. And trust me that AWS is kind of really complicated in my eyes. So I will discuss about how it is complicated and why it is so. And pretty much and also really think that uh, we will also discuss about making the making the web application, and then integrating the APIs, and then deploying into the backend architecture on the AWS on probably on the platform. Now the main issue is currently the first of all is just to come up with a solution and just try to make it something bigger. Let me just make this screen much bigger. Okay. Okay. So the issue is currently right now that I'm really trying to figure out what I really need to do and what are the things that we should really just go on and try to do it out there. So let's try to really discuss about what I was really doing previous out there, and just really we are trying to give the zest of really what should we do and what shouldn't we. So let's get over to this screen. Okay, so if we just go on to the Google like how to design, let me just reduce this screen size again. Okay, so if we go on to the YouTube and type the system design, okay, which I have really already done. So, and I have already seen the videos of Gaurav Sen and the tech dummies by Narendra L. and all of them are pretty much like just to ensure what is really going on, what's really happening around it, and what really isn't. So, and we are just kind of what essentially is like, so we have given the various example of how Netflix really uses the design, how really just how Tinder really uses their system and manages the services through microarchitecture design, how WhatsApp really works, and each of the system itself is really bit complicated. So the challenge for me right now is just to figure out what is really core fundamental use case for me. What are the things that I really need to just take through it? Like, so first of all, there is a gateway on the entrance, as this guy tells you, and like there is Instagram, there is other ones. So similarly, I'm really watching right now, uh, like this guy's video YouTube channel also, and yeah. So which one is this? Okay. Yeah, this playlist, rate limiting token, crick, cricking info, system design, and all that kind of thing. I'm sorry. So what they essentially give you the idea is like how can you really just go on and design, what is the really thing that, but just like any other just like any other tutorials, these guys have really made this video in perspective of the interview questions, like as is usually said. So they haven't really gone into the depth of like if anyone wants to make the system, how they can really make. Surely they have just given a brief introduction about how they can really make the architecture system and how they cannot, and just kind of thing. So the challenge for me is like to pick up that theory and just to go on and try to implement into the actual reality and our architectural check. So what I'm really just trying out to learn is like the AWS services. Why isn't loading fast? Okay, so this is actually AWS is like for those guys who don't know, AWS is a cloud provider, cloud platform provider, um, and you can really just go on and search more about what is cloud computing and what it isn't, so that you can really gain more knowledge about it. So basically, it's like an on-demand computing uh, service provider. So it we can really just scale as much as we want and like scale down whenever we want, and we just really pay for what we only use. So but my experience of really using AWS was kind of a tricky. Like, first of all, they really give you the free tier account, but they say you that, hey, just use it for free. And when we really start to use it for free, and I really just check out the homepage whether it's really free or not, and whether it's really free or not. And when it says that it's free without any star, without any asterisk, or without any like terms and conditions really given mentioned below. And when we really start to use, they just really build me up, and they say that, hey, you are using this service out of the US server, so that you are being charged. And then they really say that this is the documentation and you go it. So it's a kind of really reverse system. Like when you go to the restaurant, you really just typically get to see the first menu card, then you get to see the pricing, and then you get to then you really actually buy the product. But AWS is a kind of a really reverse thing. Like it's really and it's really a vast thing. Like just I want to show you like how vast it is. Okay, AWS Management Console. Now they have a really ton of all services like compute, like EC2, S3 databases are like RDMS, Dynamo, and all that kind of thing. But the problem with it is like I really don't know like how to really just go on and manage all those things, and that like and really dealing with their SDKs and all that kind of thing. Moreover, like there isn't really much more thing on the YouTube, like how can you really just integrate with a like Node.js with a DynamoDB. Although there are really packages on NPM, but is it really easy to find out the tutorial? Let's see how many tutorials are there. Node.js and AWS DynamoDB. Okay, so there are, what are these lengths? Okay, so some of them are 10 minutes, some of them 15, some of them are okay, okay. So yeah, at least there are something. Uh, so yeah, and the more important thing is like which is the AWS Learnings Conference is like AWS reInvent. Let's try to search it out. Okay, just okay, like AWS reinvent 2019 playlist. Okay, so here this is one. So this has currently right now 16 playlists out there, and each of them are really just a kind of give, they have brief knowledge about it. Essentially, the conference is all about educating the people about AWS services. Like the Amazon really does host this conference every year, and if anyone wants to learn this, you can just go on and type out this. But the major issue is like what should I really learn about it? What is the actually main key problem? So just really go. Let's try to really type out the a brief scenario about what we really want. Describe DOCS docs, uh, Google Docs. Okay, so let's try to add one blank page. So like our first one was like home page. Let's try to just uh, normally scale it up to 30 points something. Okay, so first one is like home page that we really know. Second one is like internal structure. Internal structure, and what are they essentially in the internal structure, right? So let's try to really like brief summary it out. So what we are really going to do is the first one is like, sorry, exclamation. First one is like SMS, uh, authentication, SMS, email service, email, AWS, okay, OTP service, which comes under like let's try to just write here SMS slash OTP service says and AWS. Oh yeah, sixth one is like MongoDB slash AWS NoSQL. I'm really right now currently confused regarding what should we really use right now. Should we really go for the MongoDB or really should use NoSQL? But fundamentally it depends on the cost structure, right? And the main important thing is for us is like main important feature is for us is price. I can only imagine spending like around 100 to 2000 like sorry 1000 or 2000 rupees per month. That is my maximum capacity. And and the issue is that after really making it, I just want to really at least reach out to the thousands people out there. So if it isn't really gonna work, then it's a really severely uh, a big like a commercial failure for me. But I'm really not really worried that much because it's just I'm really doing right now to enhance my skills, enhance my vision about really making the productivate in the next term. So yeah, so this is right here. And the next thing that I'm really trying to do is to really revise, okay, to revise previous concepts. Now, what do I mean by revise previous concepts? Like, so apart from the basic MERN stack, revise MERN stack. The MERN stack individually contained a lot of topics out there, like authentication, uh, like using the passport JS, using the probably like is it really useful for me or not? Like it's a doubtful question for me even right now. And what isn't really think that like using the passport JS, right? Uh, like connecting the backend, connecting the front end and backend integration using the concurrent JS. Uh, like and there are really many things. Like even it's really kind of really fogging my mind a little bit. And just like how I really designed the architecture, just like framework of the front end. I really want to really just make out things like in a way, and same for the backend even, like how just to route it, how to just use it. Like for example, so the, making choice between monolithic monolithic versus what we called distributed system distributed system or distributed system or microservices. So this is the kind of thing. uh, should we really go for the monolithic? Should we go for the uh, distributed system or the microservices? Well, it depends on the cost system and it depends upon the whole kind of thing. Like in AWS, the one of the thing that I really know is like basically one is EC2, one is S3, one is document DB, uh, and how to really use it. Just we have to really go on and try to check that out. And just which is the cheapest SMS provider, which is the like cheapest SMS and yeah. So yeah, one thing I really mentioned up down here like payment, yeah, which is the cheapest payment service provider, payment integration. And yeah, the most important thing is like how much time will it require. Well, this is a kind of tricky question. Even I'm really not cleared about it, but like considering the making the UI of it is like it's hardly a 1 or 2 week task in basically in React and managing the front end, but the whole like 70% part of it majorly really consists of making the backend system work into it, like and adjusting the docu and adjusting the dynamic day queries and handling all this kind of thing. Like you have to really just also make the system architecture about how can we just go on and try to make it happen. Like so there is a coding architecture, there is a system architecture, and at the currently the challenge is also like I'm not able to I'm really not able to just kind of frame how the backend architectures are framed. In theoretically, just like the GKCS or the Narendra, even I can just go on and just type out drawing the diagram and it can work for me. But that is the first step. But and going on to the further level is like we have to really make and the coding level system like or the coding diagrams what we call to really support that showcase about what it is and what it isn't. And the next thing which I have really just kind of what I really want to tell is like this Udemy website. So this is what I really the most two important thing for me. So I really recently purchased one course of from Academind, like React, and this is from Traverse Media. What I really want to essentially do is just you know I really want to revise all these two things. Just try to check out what are the best practices in the coding architecture. Just really try. I will just try to figure it out by pen or paper, like what was their thinking strategy, how they were really framing out, and all this kind of thing. And then I'll really try to wrap my head around like how can I really implement that strategy into my workflow so that I can really get benefited from it. And moreover like I'm also really trying out to reach the developers on LinkedIn out there to really to ask whether if they can just help me in making all it. Some people have really just said that they were ready that to say, and some of them really suggested to use the like parse server. Some of them suggest parse user, this one. Some of them really just suggested to use Embass, MBASS. Now the challenge for like mobile as a backend service. Now the one guy suggested for me that you should really just go on and try to use simple service like because you are really making alone, which is quite okay. And a lot of thing I really just want to even automate it. So even being alone, I can't really just go on and code everything out there. So I really need to figure out which is an optimum path for me. Is like, is there any some sort of thing that will really help me, or is it really something that it is really an official thing? So, but the main reason is that if that will if that learning of that thing will be just more than what I've really learned, so I will probably stick to what I really need right now because the I'm really working like I'm really planning my workflow according to my startup, which I'll be doing right now in 2020, at the end of late in 2020 or early 2021, and in a viewpoint of that, like considering that I have really want to work with AWS in the finally, so I really want to just kind of emulate that feeling, that enthusiasm and pressure in even here also, so that I can just kind of really go on try to make it happen. So uh, this was it guys. I hope that you have really enjoyed this video. The next time I will really come up with another session with like another session with coming up with a system design and architecture with in XT, and we will just surely gonna prototype it out. So if you have really liked this video, consider subscribing to this channel, and if you have any question, queries, comments, suggestion, for me or my channel, just leave down it in the comment section, and you can just surely follow me on the Instagram, because before YouTube you can get the notification of my channel, of every videos that I post on my Instagram. So till then, stay connected and have a good day.